Hello everyone. You must have noticed almost all the time when you get your patient admitted to a hospital for say tonsillitis or malaria, whatever it may be, a lot of routine tests are being done like complete hemogram, blood sugar, kidney function test, liver function test, chest x-ray, ECG, prothrombin, etc. Now these things are not of concern in a government setup where it's either free of cost or maybe of minimal charge. But in a private hospital where these tests cost heavily, sometimes patients may get suspicious or paranoid as to why these seemingly unrelated tests are being carried out. Now, in this video, let's try to understand the purpose and need for doing those tests. There is a simple answer to it and a detailed explanation to it. The simple answer is that we treat the patient and his body as a whole and not just treat the disease or that particular organ system. Now let's come to the detailed explanation. There are some tests which can be considered as routine tests, that is, they are done almost all the time. But just to make our explanation simple, let's call them as category A tests, that is, they are done even if the damaged organ system is something else. Now obviously there are some tests which can be considered as category B, that is, they are done only if that particular organ system is affected. Now there are few more tests which can sometimes be considered as category A and sometimes be category B depending on the condition of the patient. Let's start with today's discussion proper, that is, why these category A tests are done routinely. Now imagine if you get admitted to a hospital for say tonsillitis or ear infection. First of all, they send your complete hemogram, which involves hemoglobin, WBC count and its types, platelet count. Now the hemoglobin gives us the idea of overall wellness of the patient. WBC rise gives us the idea about the infection in the body of the patient. Now you may ask, when there is obvious infection in the tonsil or the ear, why do we still need to see the WBC count? That is because in addition to helping us in the diagnosis, it also helps us to monitor the response to treatment. That is, rise in the WBC count when we repeat it later indicates that probably the antibiotic is not acting properly and the infection is rising. And if the WBC count falls later, it means that the patient is improving. Now, similarly, rise in the platelet count can also be a marker of acute infection, that is called as acute phase reactants. On the other hand, if the platelet count is low, it will increase the chances of bleeding in a patient. This is especially important if a patient needs to undergo some operative procedure. Blood sugar is definitely a must, irrespective of whether the patient is diabetic or non-diabetic. Simply because most of our patients get confused with not tested blood sugar so far as non-diabetic. What I mean to say is a lot of our patients get diagnosed as diabetic when they get admitted for some other disease. Kidney function test along with electrolytes, that is urea, creatinine, sodium, potassium. Now you may wonder, when the problem is in tonsil or ear, why do we need to know about the functioning of the kidney? Or sometimes you may have noticed when the condition of the patient worsens, doctor may tell you that the kidneys have stopped functioning. Now let's understand this whole thing. Whatever the disease may be, the medications that we give ultimately have to get filtered out of our body through the kidneys, right? Well, some may be predominantly taken care by the liver, that's different. So we need to have the idea about the basic functioning of the kidney before we start our medication, especially the injectable antibiotics. Most of the time, if the kidneys are functioning suboptimally, it will not be evident externally, as it frequently happens in case of diabetics. But this problem may get exaggerated because of the medicinal intake. That is why we need to have an idea about the functioning of the kidney so that we make necessary changes in the dosage of the drugs. Moreover, some of the antibiotics may be slightly toxic to the kidneys. Hence, we should know about the baseline functioning of the kidney and we need to keep monitoring it as long as the patient is on that particular antibiotic. Even though the disease is in one particular organ system, eventually all our body parts are mutually dependent on each other. And hence, if the condition of the patient worsens, it will have an impact on other body organs too. Usually, kidneys are one of the earliest organs to get affected. Similar thing holds true for liver function test. That is, if the liver is functioning suboptimally, then we need to make changes both in terms of choice of the drug as well as its dosage. Moreover, liver can be considered as a major production factory in our body, producing a lot of important compounds. So if there is an issue in its functioning, then we need to provide external supply of these compounds which may have a role in the recovery of the patient. Chest X-ray and ECG tell us about the overall fitness of the patient, especially if the patient is above 50 years of age. Hypertension, which is so common amongst us, on long term has an impact on the cardiac system of the patient. And if the condition of the patient worsens, chest infections are one of the very common collateral problems that patients have. Hence, chest X-ray gives us the baseline picture. As mentioned previously, some tests at times be category A or sometimes be category B. That is, sometimes they are done only when that particular organ system is affected, and sometimes they are done routinely. Now, these include urine tests, echocardiogram, prothrombin time, etc. Now, these tests are done routinely if the patient has to undergo some major operative procedure, especially if the patient is above 50 years of age. Category B investigations of our discussion are some of the major tests which are done only if there are some specific indications. For example, EEG, not ECG, electroencephalogram, which is done only when the patient has or is suspected to have seizures. Or other examples include MRI scan of the brain or CT scan of the abdomen or some invasive investigations. I hope you understood why these seemingly unrelated tests are done when the patient gets admitted for some other problem. If you have any query regarding any other investigation, feel free to mention in the comment below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and for more health and wellness related videos, subscribe to this channel.